Today, we're taking a look at the #1 Ning Fei in Destiny Rising and seeing how they've built this character. To me, Ning Fei is one of the most important characters to build up, if not the most. Everybody's built up Gwyn, and a lot of people have built up Estella, at least at the very high level of players. So, what that means is we've got a supply and demand issue for Ning Fei players, and he's in demand right now. So, let's take a look at what has been built out here and what we can learn from this build. Ning Fei is so good in so many areas of content. You absolutely need a Ning Fei on the team if you want to push past some of the higher level Calamity Ops stages. Without it, you're going to find it really difficult right now. Shifting Gates, Ning Fei is easily the most popular choice because of his crossbow, and he's very much one of the best PvP characters in the game. In the standard Gauntlet Onslaught, not the Eclipse version, we do see Ning Fei quite frequently there as well. And even in the Expanse Eternity, we see Ning Fei. Even though this is more of like a solar event, look at all these Ning Feis that we're seeing at the top of the leaderboard. It's the new meta to just use Ning Fei for so many areas of content because he is the speedrun character. He's really strong. So we're going to take a look at the #3 character on the leaderboard in Europe. Unfortunately, we can't look at #2 and #1 because their private profile's private. If they end up making their profile public, then we can learn from that. But let's take a look at how this character has been built up on Slabaka's account. Now, he's got 72,000 power rating on this, so this is going to be really quite interesting here. So, let's see what they built out. Now, I think this is something that's going to catch a lot of people off by surprise here. Take a look at this. I've teleported into the bottom corner to take a look at his stats. The first thing that I think will catch a lot of people's eyes out is the weapon choice. It's the Wolf Pack. A lot of other people are going for the other SMG, which let me just quickly remind you what that is. I'm seeing a lot of people have a discussion online about what is better, the Colfie or the Wolf Pack. But this character, at least on the leaderboard, or this person, has gone for the Wolf Pack. So let's see exactly how he's built the Wolf Pack, and of course the exotic crossbow, which I think is the most important part of this build. Let's see exactly how it goes. So 11,000 power rating on this weapon, triple exotic mods, and he's still got a little bit of room for upgrading here. The traits he has gone for, obviously it comes by default with light white frame and synesthesia. I kind of think one of the reasons why the Wolfpack is recommended is because of this. Superb handling, move faster with this weapon equipped. Remember how Ning Fei's great at speedrunning? I think this is kind of adding to that, right? Anyway, synesthesia is built into it by default. Reloading grants this weapon 30 range and 30 handling speed until the next blow. If you have the perk upgrade, if a final blow hasn't been landed with the first half of the magazine, the second half will do extra 15% damage. I don't honestly, perk wise, this doesn't sound like the best out there, but you're stuck with it with the Wolfpack. So now for the traits he's gone for, are essentially just the recommended traits here, which are Annihilation. This weapon deals increased damage based on how low the target's health is, up to 45%. Now, with the perk upgrade, so this is when you get a matching perk on the corresponding mod slot, and he does have all 3 perks activated, so he's been grinding very hard. This weapon deals extra 20% damage against targets with less than 33% health. So basically, it's going to start to stack up extra damage as you deal more damage to a target. I mean, more damage in any way at all is great, right? Especially with something like an SMG, which is just pure DPS. Now we move on to Hyperamia. Final blows plus 20% damage bonus for 10 seconds, stacks 5 times. Additionally, reaching 3 and 5 stacks refills the magazine. And with the perk upgrade, after reaching 5 stacks, final blows automatically fill the magazine. I think this is a really nice perk upgrade. Now, what's really interesting about this, since the latest update, this is even more powerful alongside a lot of other mods that have final blows. If you do a large amount of damage on an enemy and then someone else takes the kill, you will still get the stacks, which is really important. So the Wolfpack Hyperamia perk is even more important now. So these are the mods he's got. Obviously, it's just exotic, so it's the basic stuff there. And he's made sure that they've rolled into the matching traits. Now, let's see how far he's upgraded the auto crossbow. It's fully upgraded. I don't know how he's managed this, even if he is like a mega whale. That's quite impressive. This is just the best gun on Ning Fei. By the way, fun fact, I only learned this today. I can't remember. I saw a post about it online. If you shoot heavy ammo, you'll pick it up. So you don't need to walk over it. You just shoot it, which is really handy for a weapon like this. Hip-fired bolts over-penetrate targets. Bolts fired while aiming have significantly reduced spread and do increase precision damage. It's a really strong weapon, and I'm curious what these catalysts actually do. Hip-fired arrows gain extra 25% over-penetration damage. Aiming down sights grants this weapon extra rate of fire. And then firing increases the number of bolts fired from 3 to 4, but each individual bolt deals 90% damage. That's an interesting catalyst band. And then, I mean, he's got all of these upgraded. So this thing's got to be pretty powerful. That is crazy. Let's take a look at how far he's upgraded his relic abilities. No surprise there. Fully maxed out. I actually don't know how he's managed to get hold of all of the end game resources to do this. Like, don't you need a lot? Like, maybe I spent mine wrong, but I'm curious if you look at his other characters. Yeah, I mean, he's still got 18 on Wolf. What about Gwyn? Does he play Gwyn? Gwyn is also 18 as well. How's this guy getting so many of these resources? I'm very curious. Right, relic abilities is done. And ooh, he doesn't have the full talent tree maxed out. I'm actually quite surprised by this. Obviously, Ning Fei really benefits. He's one of the most, like, for a extra roll, for just one extra roll, you get such a big boost in power. Citrix max number of charges increased to 2, but everything else kind of adds power to him. But like, this is the most valuable one for the least amount of resources in terms of pulls, right? Now, here's the fun part. Let's move on to the artifacts. Pretty standard here. I wasn't really expecting too much different. We've got the typical sort of Ning Fei artifacts. We've got Nourishing Pact, which is summoning, restores 20% health. And then Healing Veil, casting movement ability, instantly restores 16% health, a very popular choice for Ning Fei. And Courageous Planetesimal, casting any ability, grants 18% damage bonus for 10 seconds. And then Valiant Veil, casting movement abilities, grants plus 25% damage bonus for 5 seconds. These are like the bog standard Ning Fei artifacts, so no surprises gone for those. He's gone, let's see what his attributes are. Shield boost, elemental resistance, melee damage resistance, health boost, defense boost, melee damage resistance, shield boost. They're like almost perfect rolls with 2750 power. He could actually put some more work into refactoring these a bit more, though. I mean, you know, he's obviously super end game already, but like the plus 46, plus 47, there's a tiny bit of room for improvement on these first two. You know, yes, okay. Oh, hold up. He's got a mythic here. He has 2 mythics. Wow, that really surprised me. This guy has put a lot of work into building this character out, and he's got 2 mythics. But even though he's got 2 mythics, he's still maxed out his perk level, which I think is important to note. Perhaps it was more beneficial for him to max out these mythics here. He's got 330 attribute score from both, which is pretty max, and he's maxed out these stats here, right? So what's important is I think that he's purposely rolled mythics to make sure that he can get 3 really powerful rolls: ability strength, super boost, weapon enhancement, ability strength, super boost, weapon enhancement, and he's maxed it out to 55 plus 55. This is actually a smart thing to do because the resources it would require to get your exotic artifact to 55 max roll through artifact refactoring is ridiculous. And even for a player like him, the resources do end up running out at some point. So actually a really smart way to go and farm a bunch of mythics and then just upgrade the mythics with the perfect rolls to max level. Now, I'm sure late game, once he's got the resources, he can swap them out for exotics. But right now, this is a very beautiful thing to look at. I mean, if we compare this to here, 198 shield boost. Like, even though the actual attribute score is higher overall for these exotics, the individual scores is less. You know, shield boost 198 here, ability strength 220. These individual roles are incredible. And I mean, if we look at the other roles that it could roll into, right? I guess you could go for arc boost or signature boost, you know, in the future. That would be very, very nice. But imagine getting the god roll on an exotic and then fully upgrading it to 55 out of 55. The resources would be crazy. The grind would be ridiculous. So it's almost no surprise. I mean, yeah, no surprise there. And then artifact gilding. It should become as no surprise whatsoever. He has completely maxed out his artifact gilding on Ning Fei, 22 gilding level. Now, I'm very curious to see what that would look like on, say, Wolf. And yeah, you can see that he's not put all the resources into his other characters. I mean, his Wolf is, let's have a look. His Ning Fei is overview 72k power. And his next most powerful character is 67k on Gwyn. Now, what's really cool about this, I think he only has 4 characters. Unless those are the only ones that he's made public. I'm not sure how it works. But he's basically put all of his resources into Ning Fei. And then obviously Wolf and Gwyn a little bit here and there. Really, really, really cool to see. Let's look at his stats here. I'm very curious to see exactly how he's progressed through the game here. So, researcher level 1 in shifting gates. Okay, you know, he's played a little bit. He's only, you know, it's not like a huge grinder of that. Gauntlet Onslaught. He's done 70 Gauntlet Onslaught runs. Okay. The Expanse. He's completed the Expanse on both stages. So he did the solo one with Ning Fei. And he did the Void one with Gwyn, of course. And he managed to do it fairly easily there. Calamity Ops, he's Master 1. Okay. And he did that in 4 minutes, 11 seconds. He's Master 1. Wow. Hold up. So let's just go to Calamity Ops here. We go like this. And go to Calamity Ops. Master 1 is all the way down here. How many points do you even need for Master 1? I'm not really sure, but he is way up there. And that's how he's got the incandescence clusters. That's how he's managed to do it. Because you get, obviously, all of these for upgrading. And if you get in the promotion zone at the end, you're going to get an extra, well, you know, a master, you get like 5. This really goes to show how powerful Ning Fei is and how you can use him to farm through a lot of content that the other characters just can't right now because he's such a speedrunner. Obviously, he's still not the number 1 on the leaderboard. I'd love to know who this mystery light bearer is and who's on the NA leaderboards as well. But this is the number 1 public character showcase that I can look at. And, I mean, it's everything that I expected, although there were some surprises. For example, with the artifacts. And, overall, the fact that the way he's built it is... Oh, like LinkedIn companions. Let's have a look at this. He's gone for increases arc damage and increases maximum shield. Pretty straightforward there. Wonder what his level is then. Overview. He is level 34 on Acclaim. Okay. He's got only 8 out of 20 exotics. And he's got 3 golds. Yeah, no surprise there. It's clear to me the most amount of time he's spent in the game is Calamity Ops and Gauntlet Onslaught. 70 clears. And, I mean, that's really quite interesting. If we go to Gauntlet Onslaught now, and we take a look at that, so 70 clears is quite a lot, isn't it? And, I mean, that's probably where he's been farming. Apologies, that was for the current season stats. It did seem a little odd. If we go to lifetime, then he's actually done 100 Gauntlet Onslaught clears. So that is absolutely where he spent the majority of his time farming to get those perfect rolls for the, well, not perfect rolls, but getting a bunch of re-rolls for the crossbow to fully max out the catalyst. So pretty interesting. Were there any surprises there? Anything that shocked you? Was everything as expected? And should I do this with any other characters? Let me know, and I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio.